Phoenix Down Radio is on the air.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 104. How's everybody doing tonight?
Fish. So many fish.
Dang it.
I'm doing awesome, and I'm not fishing.
And you're also not in game.
I'm not. We have an invisible Taliz for the next couple of probably months, unfortunately.
Well, for now, Taliz can be. We'll use a Suzaku as your stand-in.
I am super cool with that. Actually, I'm super fine with that.
So I am your host, Klauss Nightbringer, and as you heard, we are joined this week by Seyrr Timono and Taliz Marvelous. Thank you so much for joining us again, guys.
Huzzah, we are here. Oh man, Klauss, I just came up with a hilarious idea.
What's that?
I get a retainer Fantasia. I change one of my retainers to look like me. I drop my free company, join the Phoenix Down free company, and leave a retainer standing in front of the couch while I'm gone.
That's rather involved for a joke.
Yeah.
Well
I mean.
But I mean, if you're no longer subscribed, will it stay?
I think so, yeah. Someone left a retainer dropped in my yard and they're still there.
In your yard?
Yep.
That's weird.
Stuff happened. Your face.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask about this after the show.
Yeah, that's a weird one. But I am currently invisible. For everybody that missed last week's show or 2 weeks ago show and isn't following me on Twitter, I have been accepted for a position teaching in Japan. The South Korea thing ended up not working out because it was kind of a scam. So as a result, I'm potentially going to be gone for 2 to 3 months, possibly longer. But I don't know for sure till next week. Because my sub was about to run up, I decided to let it lapse because, frankly, I'm not going to have time to play when I'm there. So that doesn't really make sense for me to throw $15 a month at the game when my PS4 is staying here. But at the end of 2 months, hopefully, I will be resubbed, whether I'm subbed in Nagasaki or subbed here on the West Coast, remains to be seen.
But hopefully you'll be able to continue to join us for the podcast.
I can definitely join you guys for the podcast. I just currently am there in spirit and look like a Suzaku minion.
There we go. I'm not going to read Kane's comment live because Seyrr will probably flip. So how is Seyrr doing?
Seyrr is doing okay. Seyrr meant to do all sorts of other content like leveling Black Mage and working on some crafters and the like. Instead, there are 807 fish in the fish guide of FF14. This is just the fishing guide. The spear fishing guide is a separate section.
Yes.
There are 55 blank spots in Seyrr's fish guide.
Seyrr is insane.
That's a lot.
I now know every fish in the Black Shroud, Mordona, Hingashi, and all but one in Norvrant, Eastern Lenosha, and Eastern Thanalan. That reminds me, Apoak is right down there. Do you mind if I just nip off and
I do
maybe
mind.
later? Maybe later.
I do mind greatly, in fact.
Okay. We'll put that in the maybe pile. But yeah, I don't even know why, but I decided that I needed to do all the fishing.
I mean, fishing is kind of fun in this game. I at one point was going to do all of the big fishing. I think at the end of 2.x, but there was so much involved with that. I think I stopped after about 50 of them.
Some of the older ones are a little easier now. For instance, there's one out by Namai over in Yangsha where there's 2 fish that are found in that fishing hole at all. And with Surface Slap being able to make one of them go away, you can force the big fish. There's stuff like that, so it's a bit easier.
But I mean, some of the original ones are still a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah. They did so some of the big fish, especially the really legendary ones, do have a maximum cap on the success rate of pulling them up. And they did reset recently, but it's still not as much as the other fish. I still have had more than a few that got away after a few tries.
Yeah, which seems a little insane.
The achievements say that I am up to 162 big fish caught.
Damn.
So about 80% of the Grandmaster Caster title.
Okay. Quite
Dang.
the title.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're
I
not
may or may not be having depressive episodes. I am not sure how connected that is to this conviction that all the fishing ever must be done. I will keep up on that and let you know.
Since you're so good at fishing, I'm sure you're really good at putting on that bait, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Why, I'd have to say that I'm an expert baiter.
God, why is this happening? All right, y'all, it's 6:38 p.m. and we're already in the gutter. Congratulations.
We've been in the gutter
hey,
since we started. Come on.
Nothing about what I said is terrible, and I challenge you to prove otherwise. Now, if your terrible, terrible brain went somewhere else with it, well, that's on you, I'd have to say.
It's true.
Very true. I've been up to a lot of no good. No, I've been doing stuff, capping. The fact that running on the Shadowbringers A hunt train is still a viable option for capping on tomes. I love it. Once they get rid of all of the instances, though, it'll slow things down significantly, but that's all right. By that
how
time,
much longer are they going to have those around anyways?
I'm guessing until 5.1. I mean, I have not seen any announcements stating that they're going to be having any maintenances coming up soon, which is they would require a maintenance in order to take all of them down. But we'll have to see. But until then, I mean, the fact that you can cap all of your Phantasmagoria tomes in one run through of all of the A ranks and Shadowbringers is insane.
That is really good.
Yeah.
So, aside from that, I've been actually working on crafters. I've got most of them above 74, with the exception of Culinarian and Alchemist. I'm saving those two for as the last group I do. I've been trying to do them a little bit in the groups, you know, the smiths, and then the leatherworker, weaver, and carpenter.
The different facets of the crystalline meme.
Correct, because I've noticed that a lot of the turn-ins have requirements that go across the 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So
it definitely seems like something that's a little easier to work with if you're doing multiple crafts in tandem.
Yeah. I was going to just get one of them, of each of them up, and then level up using leaves. But leaves are still a great way to level up, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. They're amazing.
I've actually been working on my gatherers through those.
Yep. And also, don't forget to use those scrolls. I mean, you can get a shit ton of XP by utilizing them.
And those scrolls are basically free at this point. There's so many of them, and they're just everywhere, and they drop from damn near everything.
Yep. I mean, there's 3 different tiers of them based on which level your particular crafter is at. If you're at 70 plus, you're going to want to make sure you're using the newest ones because you're going to burn through the old ones in like 2 crafts otherwise.
But the fun fact is the ones that you can get from your grand company stack to the new ones as well. So you could have both running simultaneously.
But don't those have a cap of how much XP they give as well?
They do, so you burn it up like almost instantly, but you can still have both going and just get that little bit of extra. I mean, it's like eating food when you're like have that weird job that you never leveled that's sub 40. It gives you 3%. It's not a ton, but 3% during main scenario is like half a level below 50. Like, it's a lot. Like, it's insane how much it adds up. When you can add 50, 60, 70%, which you can do with food and FC buffs and Grand Company stuff, it levels up real quick.
Yeah. Moral of the story is use your XP buffs, people.
And also, if you're leveling crafting, either level it now when we know how to do it, or
wait until 5.1.
Or wait until 5.1 and have fun figuring it out.
And we'll tell you why a little later on in the show.
Yep.
But as for one last bit of show news, for those of you who joined us in the pre-show, I want to congratulate Shoya, who won our giveaway of a copy of Final Fantasy VIII Remastered for the platform of their choice. We'll be in contact with them and find out which one they want it on, and be sending that out soon. But we do now have another giveaway. Thanks to the lovely people at She Heals I Tank and former host and friend of the show, Chili, I came in possession of a Fat Cat mount. So I have a code for a Fat Cat mount that I'm going to give away to one lucky listener. How do you get it, you ask? Well, I would like to have you guys share the love. And actually, I want you to write a haiku extolling the virtues of our favorite fluffy feline.
I cannot believe we're doing this.
So,
Is it allowed to be a Senryu?
No.
Well, Senryu is still the 575, but it's usually a little more darkly humorous.
then yes.
Excellent.
Oh, Lord. All right.
But hosts are not eligible.
Well, yeah. No, I just want people to fill me with amusement at the
We're going to just
comic
go
foibles of life.
with the version of a haiku that we learned about, not the proper one that Taliz was trying to tell me about earlier. As long as it's a 575,
You're good.
You're not even going to require seasonal references.
Or
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
yeah,
Or weather, or living beings.
it's not going to be nature. Well, you could do something with nature. I mean, because the fat cat is a force of nature. So I mean, maybe you could use. I've just given you guys your muse on that. So send those. Let's have them post them through Twitter again, because Twitter is so much fun, and you can share them with the Twitterverse. Tweet at PHXDN Radio with your favorite, with your Fat Cat haiku. We'll pick our favorite, and you will get a Fat Cat mount. Sound easy? Because I hope it is. I want to see all the Fat Cat haikus. And yes, Kane, a haiku is 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know we'll be able to fit those within Twitter, because since they've increased their cap now.
It's 280 to everybody, right? Because it was like, okay, that was a long time ago. Like some people had it and others didn't.
Correct. It's doubled to everybody now.
Cool.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into some game and community news, starting with some amazing community news. Next weekend, September 27th through the 29th, our friends over at A Stage Reborn will be presenting their production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. So we invite everybody to go check that out. Let me get a copy and paste of that link. I am so good at this. I should have had this done already, ready to go. But go check out them. They are on the Diablo server. If you want to join in live, make sure that you get in contact with them to see, because seating is very, very limited at this point. What they're actually encouraging people to do is join them on their Twitch channel, twitch.tv/A Stage Reborn. Or I think we will also be hosting it here at Phoenix Down Radio, as will a number of other content creators. So make sure to check that out. There will be a number of shows. September 27th and the 28th will be at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And on September 29th, they will have 2 shows at 12 p.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific. Runtime is going to be approximately 2 hours. So yeah, I strongly recommend that you check that out, and they do an amazing job. Have you guys checked out any of their previous plays or presentations?
I haven't been able to attend live, but I did watch a video recording of their production of The Worker, which was such a bizarre play, but I was really impressed with how they actually managed the stagecraft for it.
I was in the same boat. Like, it wasn't reasonable. When they first started, we didn't have World Visit, so getting there was almost impossible. But now that we could watch it on like YouTube or whatever, it was fun to watch. But it's definitely, you could tell, like all live theater, it's definitely more fun to see in person if you can.
So yeah, I mean, and they are one of the reasons why the game has been putting in so many different housing items. like the stages
for sure.
and things like that. So it's just cool to see that SE is really paying attention to the community and how that all works.
It's wild to think that, like, hey, we really like what we're doing. Let's try to make this happen. And then a couple years later, the game company is like, so here's the stage, and here's lights that you can turn on and off. And here's how you clip things into a wall the right way so that you can stand on them. And it's like, oh my God, they built a stage.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Maria and Draco was the first one that I saw of theirs.
Yep, I think that was the first one they did.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a few years ago already.
Yeah. All right, I forgot they're local to me.
Yeah, they're up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, they're like, no, like they legit are half a block away from the place I buy burritos once a week. Like they're super local.
Well, that is super local. You should go have a beer with Wanderer then.
I might actually. That wouldn't be too hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, before you head over to Japan.
Oh, for sure.
He seems like a nice guy. I think you'd get along.
All right, moving on. It's not necessarily Final Fantasy related, but it definitely hits a retro note in my book. Classic Dragon Quest games are coming to the Switch, guys.
Thank God.
Square Enix recently announced that the first 3 games in the Dragon Quest franchise are scheduled to release on September 27th, next weekend, for the Nintendo Switch. The entire trilogy will be made available individually in the eShop, with the original DQ set for $5. DQ2 is $6.50, and DQ3 is $12.50. I only played 1 and 2 of those sets, but I remember way back in the day, I actually subscribed to Nintendo Power for 2 years so I could get a copy of Dragon Warrior for free.
I think 7 was the one that I ended up playing a lot of and then being very angry at.
I played 1 largely because I worked at NOA for a while and it was just kind of a rite of passage. But then as time went on, like I keep looking at them, but I just have never had time to sit down and play one. And now with all of the remakes, remasters, and re-releases, I'm running out of excuses not to, frankly. Like there's just too many good options now.
The revamped graphics actually look really nice too.
They look super good. They look so smooth and so much fun.
Yeah, they've kept a lot of the neat aspect of what made the game so iconic. But like I said, they've updated the images a little bit, but it still really shows what we are, what we're used to seeing. I'm gonna copy and paste it in there. This is all thanks to Nova Chrysalis. I saw this, so they've got a few screenshots in their article there, and just the mobs look really cute. Still, you walk over on the overworld, and you get your random encounters, and it's the game I remember. It was a lot of fun. But I never got into Dragon Quest when it was released for the newer consoles. I really should, but there's just so many other games to play.
Yeah, we definitely have to allocate our time well. Like, yes, I'd love to play all of the Persona series, but I have to work.
I have to be an adult.
Leave my house. Like, I can't do that.
I have to go put on pants and go to a job and make money so I can come back and do this stuff. I don't have
to put on pants. That's you lost me. I'm out.
What, you don't have to put on pants at your job?
I mean, it's frowned upon if I don't, but otherwise it's fine.
Seyrr, you're kind of quiet about the whole situation. Do you not have to wear pants either?
I mean, I'm not wearing pants right this moment, so you tell me.
You've also worn a Santa outfit at work, just saying.
Hey, we needed to try it on to make sure it fit. Because I may have been talked into doing the Santa program this year because the usual person is not available.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that is what happened. It didn't take much to talk me into it, but that is how it happened.
Yeah. All right, so let's go over that Final Fantasy news that we got from Tokyo Game Show.
Holy crap! Yeah, there's a lot.
All right, let's skip. I want to skip the stuff that I have in the notes, but I want to talk first about. There was also a little bit of game footage shown for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Yes, I am so happy that I don't need 4 handhelds, a console, a TV, 4 link cables, and 3 people, and like 17 hours of dedicated time to now play this. Now we can play online, and it's way easier.
So there was a couple days ago a thing that had been going around, a meme of like all the different Final Fantasy games and what your favorite Final Fantasy says about you. And the entry for Crystal Chronicles is, you lived in a modestly wealthy suburb and your family was quite financially comfortable. You had a GameCube and 4 GBA GameCube cables. All of the kids would come to your house. You were a god.
Yes. That is very much true.
That, or you liked carrying toilets over your head.
The one for Final Fantasy XIV begins with Shitpost Central, so take that for what you will.
It's not
I can't
wrong.
Disagree.
It's
I
not
can't
wrong.
disagree. I mean, I'm part of a group called A Meme Reborn. I mean, that's what it is.
Well, one of the more popular subreddits is called Shitpost XIV.
Yeah.
I'm part of that too.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you who hadn't yet seen it, there's a lot of good stuff going out about that. I don't have any links to any of this, but you can go check. Like Nova Crystallis has some really good information on that. They do a wonderful job on covering these shows. So thank you, Nova Crystallis, for giving us all of the Square Enix news. If we don't shout them out nearly enough.
They are an incredibly valuable resource for everybody that's playing, whether they know it or not.
Yes. So let's jump into that Final Fantasy VII Remake. Who checked out that trailer?
This guy.
Oh my god.
It's when they first showed it off, I believe it was E3, I was like, okay, finally we have something to show. That's really nice. But I had some reservations for a lot of reasons. And then it's finally starting to really flesh out, and they're showing more trailers, and they're showing more gameplay, and they're revealing more about the game. And you're like, okay, this is why it took a freaking eternity to make. It's because you guys actually cared.
Yeah.
And you built this whole game better.
Yeah. Now, this trailer is one of the shortest ones they've released so far, but I think it gave us so much more.
Oh, yeah.
And they hinted at so many things that we had been asking about for the past 6 months. Like, what is the whole cross-dressing scene going to be like? Is it even going to be in the game?
Oh, yeah.
We know, yes, it is. They didn't show any of what we really want to see for obvious reasons. But
Well, you've got to have the surprise there. But I mean, we got to see the dress that Aerith is going to be wearing.
Oh my god. She looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Just everybody looks incredible. Just I hate judging games by graphics, but my god, this looks really cool.
The squats are back.
Yes, I saw that.
They added pull-ups. So there's a pull-up mini game.
Yeah, they may have revamped some of the bits of how we get the various parts of our outfit.
Don Corneo may or may not be voiced by a really amazing voice actor.
There's so much debate on it, and no one has been able to actually pull out a definitive source one way or the other. It's a little frustrating.
But I mean, I could totally see Mark Hamill doing it.
I mean, the guy's a brilliant voice actor. Did you ever see that Batman clip where he plays 4 different voices against himself?
Yes, and it was amazing, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, I think he pretty much played every role in that clip.
Yeah, that was an amazing. If you haven't seen that clip, definitely look it up. But yeah, Mark Hamill's really talented. I think he'd be a really good choice. And Don Cornello is not in the game for an extremely long period of time. So for somebody that's going to, frankly, cost as much as he will,
that's like Patrick Stewart in Oblivion.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't need him a lot, but having him in there is a really cool thing.
And the fact that he's kind of batshit insane.
Yeah.
Cornelio's not insane. He knows what he wants.
He's batshit insane. Come on, we know that.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, there was
he has a very particular set of desires, and he has arranged his life to maximize them.
Oh god. All right.
Well, you're not wrong in saying that. Other people would call that batshit insane.
That's not insane. Just like gross and perverted, but he's not. He's perfectly sane.
All right. So, in any case, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what they do make happen, because we've had a couple different of animated voices for Cloud through the Kingdom Hearts series, through Advent Children and whatnot. So, getting to pick somebody that's going to match that character is, you have to do it right. A friend of mine was part of the casting for the new Sailor Moon from a couple years ago, where they recast all of the English language dialogue actors. That was a nightmare, because they had to straight up find all of the original actors from the early 90s and be like, okay, how did you do this? Because we can't change it too much or people will literally crucify us in the streets. And so now we have to look at somebody like Cloud, who never had a voice until I believe it was Advent Children was first.
Yes.
And we go, okay, we have to make his voice in the 7 remake fit his Advent Children profile and also fit the nostalgia profile from playing this game on the PS1 back in 1997. That's tough.
And what we've seen so far, I think the voice acting has been very good.
Agreed.
They've had a pretty good cast so far. I think they listed it, and we may have talked about it in a previous episode, but I don't have that information right in front of me, unfortunately.
It's around somewhere. Y'all can find it.
Yeah. But aside from that new trailer that dropped at the beginning of TGS, there was also a 40-minute stage presentation. And one of the biggest bits of news that came out of that is classic mode.
Oh, thank God. I am not an action RPG person.
Yeah, for those of you
classic mode makes me very happy.
For those who don't like the way Final Fantasy XV played, it's basically, we everything we had seen up to this point, 7 basically is a riff off of that play system. But they've added in a new mode called Classic, where you don't have to control where your character is within a battle, and it will pause the game and allow you to input spells, abilities, and items when your ATB gauge fills up. It's not going to be like you are going to be on one side of the battle arena and your enemy is on the other side, like in the old version, but it will still be a little bit. You'll still have a 3D battlefield you'll be fighting in, but you'll still enter everything in one round at a time. Yeah,
it's still an omnidirectional battle. It just, it's not going to be line up on one side, run forward, hit with sword, run back. Like you said, it's still going to look like active battle, but you don't have to button mash or hold X to win the game. Looking at you, 13, like you can 13 still
wasn't
play.
Quite that easy. I mean, you still had to stagger, and you had your different paradigm shifts.
It was about directing it at a strategic level instead of a tactical level.
Yes.
But given that a large part of the audience is going to be people who are playing it because it's a remake of and are nostalgic for this old style of game, but at the same time, you don't want to necessarily completely ignore modern design sensibilities. So this seems like a really interesting way to offer both of those options.
Exactly. And I think that they're smart in giving us both options. I mean, for the people who want to play it more in the classic style, or they're just, like I said, they just don't do well in the action RPG genre. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people, I kind of sucked at 15 right away.
I'm actually a little concerned about, can we switch back and forth during the game?
I hope so. That'd be nice.
I was going to say, because if we're, we're stuck in menu mode, okay, that's fine. Or we're stuck in active combat mode, okay, that's fine. If I'm running around grinding for item drops or something, dude, active mode is going to be a blast, right? That's fun. If I'm fighting a boss that I'm not super overpowered against, I might want the menu so that I can strategize a little bit more. Having both as an option is going to be, and kind of hybriding your way through, feels like the best way for me, personally at least.
I'm just checking to see if anything was announced about that. I mean, I thought I had heard somebody talking about the fact that you can switch back and forth between classic and the action mode. But
God, I hope so.
It would be very nice to be able to do that. I mean, I understand if you didn't let you necessarily switch between normal and easy mode, But I mean, if you can switch
No.
from normal to classic for a few iconic battles that you want to fight in that aspect, and then go back to the other one when you're just running around leveling up on the overworld or something.
Exactly. Because like if I'm gonna grind, yeah, just give me active. Let me tap X a little bit and smash everything. Fine. But dude, if it's like don't attack when its tail is up and make sure that you're picking the right spell, I'm like, no, I need to slow this down a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing you say is to let you smash.
Yep. Lots of smashing.
Okay. And then the other bits that they showed off were the summons. From what I understand, there are going to be 2 to 3 summons available in the first game, or actually a few more. But the 2 they showed off, 2 very iconic Final Fantasy summons, Shiva and Ifrit.
Those were changed up a bit, where it's no longer again, since we're not doing the standing and like trading attacks back and forth, they're no longer just showing up, delivering an attack, and leaving.
Correct. With these, it's actually, I almost kind of make it seems similar to Final Fantasy XI, where you've got these giant avatars of these summons, and they're roaming around the battlefield, and you can direct them to do something, but they're also doing their own thing kind of independently.
That feels a little more like 12, come to think of it. The Espers from that.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Where you have some ability to direct them and control them, but they also will do their own thing to a certain degree.
And then there's a summon gauge that you have to fill up before you can actually bring them in, and then that depletes as they're out and doing their attacks. And when it's fully depleted, they will, before they leave the battlefield, that is when they do their ultimate move, and then they will disappear. So you will still get to see Hellfire and Diamond Dust, and you'll probably get to see Mega Flare, Giga Flare, but you'll also see them do some other attacks as well, which is really cool. I wonder if it's going to be like, are they going to have an independent HP bar, and if they die before their summon bar is limited, I mean, will they just disappear then?
So I know in
can
in FF12 they did have the summon would have it where if it were to be defeated, it would go ahead and do its ultimate attack. So you wouldn't lose out on that, but they would go away, so you wouldn't get the full use of them. You wouldn't get access to some of their other things, where it's like, okay, you get their ultimate no matter what, because you went through the effort of paying the cost for it. But you may not get as much time with them, or not get other good things.
Yeah, similar to almost like 10. I mean, but with 10, if their HP went down, then they were gone. And, they would just leave the battlefield, whether or not they'd gotten their skill off or not.
There's a couple different models that could be used.
It's interesting because they're using them as summons, as opposed to some games call them summons, but they're more like a caller, where they show up, hit their attack, and bounce. And they're just basically a really big spell with an avatar attached. Where some games, like 10, like 12, they will show up and they stay there. And they do stuff with you for a little while and then leave.
I can't wait to see Knights of the Round now. Can you
I
imagine?
mean, I can't wait to have like snacks on standby because I can't leave my chair for 15 minutes because it's so long.
No,
Just set up with quad magic and go make a sandwich.
I don't think that's how it's going to work anymore, Seyrr.
Well, yeah.
What if I want to go make a sandwich while it's killing everything?
Well, then hopefully you hit pause, because otherwise you might come back and be dead.
That would be bad.
That would be bad, and hopefully you saved.
Yeah, losing. Fun fact, because we don't have PS1 mem cards anymore. Hopefully we won't randomly have memory corruption and lose like a couple hours of gameplay. That would be really nice.
Oh, Nicknar had an amazing idea. They're just going to pull Thornton and his gang from 14.
Oh, boy.
It's just the Thornton EX fight animation.
Yeah. It's that whole...
That is a great fight. The normal mode is just hit it. Like, it's not really that difficult.
That's what the EX is
mode,
now.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, how else were we going to get our burbs out of that? I mean, because holy shit, I remember doing that when it was relevant content and barely making it out. I mean,
I remember doing that at like post Stormblood and it being a bit of a challenge. Not bad, but like you still had to kind of pay attention.
yeah, I mean, you usually wouldn't get to the towers and that bit because that was
No.
kind of that would break a lot of people when it was relevant.
Yeah, it was tough.
Nick Nar low manning it with 4 people at level 80.
I mean, you can 3-man like the level 60 or the level 70 24-man raids now. They're a pain, but you could do it.
All right. Was there anything else that you guys saw at Tokyo Game Show that you wanted to discuss?
They were giving away a lot of cool stuff at the Square Enix booth, giving away the advanced copies of Realm Reborn. Like, I mean, it's the free content that we already have, but it was
Yes, they were giving starter editions away and setting people up for the game.
Yep, they were giving away starter editions. You had to beat like Ifrit hard or something. Like it wasn't
just
bad.
just Ifrit normal.
But they actually gave out little cards that explained what all of your buttons did and what all of your skills did, because everybody had super simplified UIs. But they gave out little cards explaining how to play your class. So like if you had literally never played the game before, you could kind of read the card, watch the person that was playing in front of you, and then when you sat down, the chances of being successful was pretty high. They designed it for people to play and have fun. That was a really cool idea.
Yeah, it makes sense. You want to, like, if you want to bring people into the fold, you want it to be accessible and for them to have a good experience with it.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. And it's like you want, when you're teaching somebody a game, you know, don't let them win, but maybe don't be as good at your strategy. Like, let them have some success, because showing success when you're trying something for the first time is a good way to get people interested.
Definitely. You gotta reel them in while it's, you know, early, and then hopefully they keep coming back. Well, it worked for us.
Yeah, I mean, there's 230,000 people at TGS. If you could get a third of those people to play and half of those people were new, that's an entire server. Like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. I mean, average server is about 30,000 or less.
Yeah. And, you know, my friends that play 14 that live in Tokyo, they're like, oh, yeah, we went. It was a blast. We played. And I'm like, how was it? And they're like, oh, well, there was, 8 of us and 6 people were brand new.
Oof.
Like, that's like 6 new players is tough.
And stuff still went okay.
Yeah, because it was, let's be real, it's Ifrit.
Yeah, and I also was just thinking, I've got several friends in the past week who, without any prompting from me, asked about like the whole thing with ARR's quest being streamlined, saying that they had heard about that and they were thinking of going ahead and giving it a shot once that happened because they had heard that the story was so good. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of interest and they're looking to capitalize on it.
Yeah, though I will say that part's not going to be coming for quite a while yet. We're at least 6 months out from that.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. And I let them know, hey, it's something that's in development at the moment, but it's something where that kind of thing has filtered to kind of the outside world. And so people are taking notice.
So, yeah. Then there was actually one more bit of information that I wanted to talk about from Tokyo Game Show. And that is Live Letter LIV.
Woo!
So Live Letter Live.
Yeah, what's the Roman numeral E? There isn't one, is it there?
No.
Someone go time travel back to Rome and fix it. This is clearly the best use you have of a time machine.
Yes. Anyway, so Live Letter 54 was talking about patch 5.1 part 1. The name of this particular patch is Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty. I think this is the longest title we've had on a patch.
Is it?
I'm glad that we have like cooler titles now and like cooler title logos, because like the ones for Realm Reborn and the ones from Heavensward were bad. And now we have like really cool titles that are animated and sort of tell us what we're doing in this particular chapter.
I mean, as goes light, so goes darkness
Oh yeah, I
was
forgot
a
about
similar
that one.
length.
Yeah, that was 4.3, wasn't it? Or 4.2?
Yeah.
Exactly.
4 point something.
And
Actually, it's
just looking
exactly
through
the
the
same
list.
same length.
I mean, it depends on whether you're going by letters or by... Anyways.
Syllables.
Yeah, that was 3.1.
Oh, 3 point.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a while ago.
Wow. I'm old. I don't remember shit.
Old.
That's true. We don't have an exact release date yet, but late October, about a month. We're either 3.5 or 4.5 weeks out, is my guess.
So remember, if you haven't already, it's time to get on accepting that you're never going to finish the Garo stuff.
Or you could actually actually start doing Garo again, and you can finish it within the next 26 days.
I mean, yes, you could, but let's be realistic here.
Hey, if you have time to catch 704 fish.
Okay, a lot of those. First off, I caught significantly more than that. Second, a lot of them were over the past few
700.
years.
Okay, if you have
Wow.
time to catch that many different types of new fish.
Jesus. Kane.
I'm just
Kane
accepting who I am here.
Good news. Kane found an elephant.
Oh, good job, Kane.
I think it has to do with a certain house. Oh, I think he was gonna go there, but actually he's talking about how amazing Squall looks in FF8. Wow,
He's the best-looking guy in the room.
Oh god. So the evening event for KupoCon this year, they're all masquerade balls. And the most popular mask at POMX yesterday was people making the Final Fantasy VIII PS1
Oh my!
pixelated as death mask on everybody. Everybody.
Beautiful.
There was a Kimari one, there was a Riku one, there was a Hildebrand one. People just rocked it all weekend.
Beautiful.
And I also happen to see a certain winner in the chat right now. I'm not sure if they know that they won yet, but just want to.
Who is?
Just Shoya is in the
I
chat.
don't-
I see them in the viewer list.
Oh,
haven't
okay.
said anything
I don't
yet,
have the
but-
viewer list open.
And Kane's causing trouble trying to make a Rory buy a Switch.
Shock.
So
I am shocked.
I'm going to link a couple of different sources where we got our information from, so you guys can follow along. So we've got Nova Crystallis, so thank you to them for putting together all of this good stuff, as well as our friends over at Gamer Escape. You know, Fusion X and their crew do an amazing job as well. So make sure to check those sources out. That's where we got most of our information on the coverage. Since I don't speak Japanese.
You know that's fixable.
Yeah. I just have not had time to actually learn it.
Yeah.
You could end up cursed like me.
But you have time to catch all those Wait, no, that's me.
Yes. I'm busy streaming and shit posting and the like, so I fully
good choices.
Klauss speak anime Japanese.
Nani?
Shut up, all of you. Good God.
Datebayo.
Baka Klauss. It's not like I like
Baka.
you. Like,
I'm cringing so hard right now.
as you should.
Baka baka baka.
Oh my God.
Well,
I
actually,
shoot him.
not-
It would be easy.
90% of the Japanese that I know does come from anime.
Oh no, it definitely does.
Deja
And
vu?
anime is a really hilarious way to learn like how to describe something that you'll never actually do.
Yeah.
Like race motorcycles while playing card games or whatever. Like you know how to describe all of that, or you understand things in context. Like this is what you say when you greet somebody at night. This is what you say in reference to thanking someone if you really mean it. But the actual word by word is really hard. That's what I'm stuck on. So like that's definitely one of the problems with anime. Is like, what does that mean? I don't know. I just say it when I get really frustrated. Well, shit.
I'm mostly
Like,
just
that's not how
those
that
cookie
works. But all right.
Though I have noticed myself saying "nani the fuck" a lot more frequently. Just because.
What is wrong with you?
That one I actually don't mind because it's so fucking bizarre.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Can we please have some standards?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Welcome to Anime Podcast. No, just kidding. Though doing an anime show was a lot of fun. It'd be kind of cool to bring something back like that. But yes, I love that hashtag Taliz, hashtag Nani the fuck.
It's happening.
All right. Anyway, moving on. So thank you again, Nova Crystallis and Gamer Escape, for the information that we are about to share with all of you guys now. So the biggest things discussed. Patch 5.1 is going to, of course, have new main scenario. Wow.
Yay!
Never saw it coming.
Exactly. The Pixie Beast Tribe.
That one was a little unexpected, though I guess there's so many different types of pixies and fae that having some offshoot that wants to do something or another isn't that out of the question.
I'm surprised we didn't get Numo.
We will.
I thought, oh yes, but like I thought that was going to be the first one.
Yeah, I actually did too, to be honest with you. But I'm betting they. Who are,
Oh my gosh,
the
what if-
Gatherer ones?
What if all of the beast tribes are different fae?
You mean they're all?
I would be very upset.
Well, I mean
I
the
actually
fact that
wouldn't
they're
be
all
fine
going to be
with
in the same zone. I mean, I was listening to some of the other podcasts this last week, and that was one thing that a lot of them were talking about. It seems like all of our beast tribes are in one zone.
I mean, if we've got the pixies and the new mode, then it's either the Floth, which would be a bit weird, and I'm also, or the Amuro, the
Yeah.
heartwarming Amuro.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, are we going to get the one that I'm actually thinking we're probably going to get as the crafters and gatherers is going to be the dwarves.
Oh, yeah, that's the
Oh,
only
for sure, for
It's
sure.
just funny that we're going to get Lalafell as a beast tribe.
Yeah, that is going to be a little awkward.
Oh, and somebody in the chat was working on trying to get their Garo mount.
I got it.
Oh, good job, Shishoya. You're less accepting of your fate than I am.
Yeah. They are a winner on many fronts.
What are you implying about me?
That you didn't win a copy of Final Fantasy VIII Remastered.
Damn right I didn't. Wait, what?
And they're doing the right thing and going for their Garo mount. Oh, wow. Congratulations. You're a win away from getting the first mount. Nice. Nicely
Nice.
done. Keep it up. And you'll get all three of them in no time. So anyway, continuing on. So the Pixie Beast tribes, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's probably going to be really, really childish, and I'm going to love every minute of it.
Oh man, they're gonna play so many pranks on us, and we're gonna nearly die so many times, and it's gonna be great.
Yes.
That sounds right.
And they talked about the 24-man, Yorha, Dark Apocalypse. Part 1 is going to be The Copied City.
Yeah, I'm really wondering where they're going with this.
Well, have you played Nier?
I haven't. I know a little bit about it, and I really, really do want to get around to playing it. But no, I have not
absolutely
yet.
None of it. It did not even look interesting to me, so I didn't even pick it up.
I don't. have the
Everything I've
time.
heard about it suggests it's amazing. So.
Oh, I've heard a lot of good things about the game. I just don't have time to play it.
Fair.
Well, the fact that I think the first through is about 20, 30, 40 hours, something like that, depending on how fast you push through. But then you have to go through it another how many times to get all the good endings?
Good God. A lot.
I mean, it's an amazing way to present the story, because I mean, you're not just playing through with the exact same character either, are you? You're playing through with different characters, and the story is slightly different each time. So, if I'm understanding how the game works, I mean, like I said, everything that I've heard is been through third parties or other people who've played it.
Yeah, my understanding is that at least some of the so there's a large number of endings, but there's only a few that are like super significant, and others are attained by, like, for instance, at some juncture, choosing not to fight a particular opponent or otherwise running the story off the rails. So my understanding is that there's like 5 major significant endings.
So the game should be called Our Podcast, the Video Game. Running things off the rails.
Hey, Sarah, did you watch that Maddie Matheson video on Bon Appetit this week?
Well, you had to bring up Bon Appetit, so
I
moving
mean,
on.
we're talking about going off the rails. I figured we were here.
Well, I didn't think we were catfishing anybody, though.
Fair.
Uh,
Well
And
played.
in this case, literally. I didn't watch it, but I know which one you're talking about. It was a
fucking
two-parter.
played.
I did not see it yet.
Anyway.
So he's going to watch it after the show is what I'm understanding. So,
for sure.
The new
Yes,
dungeon
after the show.
that we're going to be getting is called the Grand Cosmos. I
Yeah.
didn't see much about that, honestly. Sorry.
There's a lot where they were holding back a lot of information, such that I don't even know what to make of that. Some kind of planetarium or otherwise cosmological significance type thing, or is this like we usually use cosmos to talk of like outer space and things like that? But it's a word that comes with a like it comes to this idea of like the universe just seen as like this well-ordered whole. So like maybe it's some sort of philosophical or like model structures. I don't know where to go with that.
I got nothing, dude. Like that does not tell us enough of anything.
No.
But then again, we also have like a version of the city that was in the like here, go to the past. Your consciousness is going to go to the past and watch the city be destroyed. Was one of our dungeons.
I mean, it's more like he made like a really, really awesome VR simulation.
But still, like that's a thing that is our dungeons now. It's not just a matter of, 6 years ago we literally ran into a cave and killed pirates. Now we have cool VR simulations with magic. Like nothing is holding us back. We can do just about anything at this point. So, Grand Cosmos,
Well,
is it space related or is it just?
I do feel the need to point out that while technically, yes, that's possible, we did kind of break the previous system that was running them.
Okay,
yeah,
from
fair.
the screenshots that I'm seeing on the Nova Chrysalis site, it looks like it's a giant palace.
Hmm.
The heck?
Yeah, I kind of want to take a quick look at this.
Yeah, I linked the articles in the Twitch chat as well as in the show
Scrolling down.
notes. So
Alphino and Alice doing their thing.
if
So
you
it's this third shot here?
the one past Alphino and
Dulia.
Chai Lady. Yeah, the next two are going to be the Grand Cosmos.
Interesting. A lot of the things like the armor sets standing in the hallways put me in mind of Verber type gear.
So it's very possible that it's beneath that lake.
Or like somewhere around Ilmig or the remains of Verbert or stuff like that.
I could see that as a possibility.
Let's see.
So yeah, so that's going to be the new dungeon. I'm hoping they drop the last story dungeon from Expert.
That'd be kind of nice.
Because I
I'd be
mean,
around
while
with
it's a nice dungeon, I don't want to get it every time I do Expert Roulette.
And it's literally every time right now because it's the last one. It generates the most.
Yeah.
Whatever, and yeah.
I mean, it's always a thing. Like, they want to make sure that the newbies are getting through. I actually saw someone commenting that they were having trouble getting people for the dying gasp because that's not part of any type of the roulettes. And so people only show up for it if they're specifically queuing for it.
Yeah. I mean, I've only run it once.
I think I ran through it a couple of times the first day or two just to kind of do my due diligence. But yeah, I don't think I've run it in a while.
Yeah, this place is definitely putting me in mind of Verbert. I wonder if it's like their equivalent of the Vault.
Possible. We'll have to see.
Anyway, sorry.
It's going to be story related, is my understanding. So, but speaking of the dying gasp, they didn't actually specifically say this, but we know that the new expert trial we're getting is going to be the dying gasp. They said it's secret, but we all know what it is.
I mean, I've wondered about that. Given that we would all know or expect, I wonder if it's if they are planning to mess with our expectations on it. Otherwise, I don't get why they would keep that one secret.
I think they're keeping it secret because people still have not finished the game.
Oh, that's reasonable.
And I figure, for us, we've already, spoilers are off.
Oh,
So-
looking at the notes here, one thing about the Grand Cosmos that wasn't mentioned, but that I do want to highlight,
Mm.
is that they are keeping it compatible with the trust system.
Oh, yes, that is true. So you will be able to bring your trusts into that if you want to. Just remember
So
that the first time you go through it, you will then no longer be able to bring your trust through unless they are level 80.
Yep.
I mean, it might just be the case that from now on, because when does that restriction get lifted, or when do they get happening? If it's
Their status gets reset after you beat the storyline.
right, but so are they then going to be temporarily bumped up to 80 for the purpose of doing that, and after that drop down, or is
Yes.
it just going to be hope you've been keeping them leveled?
That's my understanding. Is it doesn't
Okay.
matter what progress you have through the game with your trust system, they will be able to be used from the get-go
For that first time.
for that first run. After which, I'm assuming you're going to have to level them back up before you can pull them through again.
Okay.
So, I mean, I still think I'm probably going to run it with people because it is a faster run. But they need to make some, in my opinion, make major changes on the experience gained on the trust system. But that's a different story. We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, I haven't had issues with that, but we may just be playing things in a different way.
It's, I guess, I just think it takes a lot longer to do it that way. So,
anyways,
moving on. Yeah. Oh, I did actually say it is trust system compatible. I just didn't put it that it was underneath that bit. So it was my fault in formatting it improperly. I'm sorry.
Keep your notes neat. Keep them readable.
Right. So the trial, they said, is secret, but we all know that it's going to be a dying gasp. But what is still a secret is they're adding a third ultimate fight, but they have not said who it is yet.
Was
That's
this
pretty
one that
cool,
we
though.
had any speculation on already?
Ultima?
We already had Ultima, didn't we? Or
Not-
do you mean the Evilise Ultima?
Yeah. No, not the Ultima, like MF. Oh, Omega. I'm sorry. Not Ultima, Omega.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's a bit of a difference.
Yeah, my bad.
I was wondering about either that or maybe they bring in Alexander and have even more fucked up time mechanics.
Yeah, Alexander is also another possibility. Because if you think about it, they've actually kind of been going in that order. They did. The first one was Ultima Weapon.
Bahamut.
Wasn't it? Wasn't Ultima
Bahamut
Weapon?
was the first one.
Okay.
The Unending Coil of Bahamut.
Okay.
Was
And then-
that it? Okay.
I thought it was the other way around, but the two were Ultimate Weapon and Bahamut, right?
Right.
So I mean that makes sense that the next one would then be the next expansion, which is Alexander.
Yeah. Assuming that they're just going for the let's grab the super thing from each expansion.
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily sure they do it that way.
Which is why I think Alexander doesn't quite fit in that particular thing, and we kind of got a redo to Alexander in the twinning.
Warrior Triad?
Another possibility.
Ooh, I would be down for that, actually. I'd be super down for that.
All of them in sequence, all at once. Maybe
Yeah.
some type of thing where you don't want them to move out of balance.
And then add
In
God
whatever
Kefka
sense
at the
that
end.
takes.
What
Or
do you
maybe Kefka shows up and starts fucking with things. I don't know.
I think, but Kefka has to be involved if you ask me.
I hope so, but I'm biased.
Granted,
Kefka.
yes,
Yeah.
in 14, Kefka was a part of Omega.
Plus, we already had his entire Archangel transformation. Not that you couldn't do something, but I kind of feel like, are you necessarily actually
That might make
treading or exploring any interesting mechanical ground?
yeah, it might make a very long fight too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like 40 minutes.
Ugh.
That would be amazing, and I'm not sure that the First Worlders would want to World Firsters, I'm sorry, would want to go that long and try and learn that much of a fight.
Yeah, ever since the days of Pandemonium Warden, I think we've been moving away from that kind of.
Yeah, though Pandemonium Warden was 40 hours.
Yeah, and then
That was absurd.
there were news stories, and then there was I'm saying ever since that type of thing, it's like maybe we shouldn't ask that of people. Maybe the thing to do is to not challenge them based on their physical endurance.
Yeah, but we'd like to hear what you guys think about that too. I mean, you can always shoot us a message on Twitter at PHXDN Radio. We'd love to hear what your speculation is on some of these secret items that they haven't, that they're teasing us with.
Punks.
All right. So aside from that, a number of job adjustments. The ones that I'm gonna talk more about are gonna be the updates to Blue Mage.
Y'all have fun with that.
What, you didn't like Blue Mage?
Can't stand it.
I didn't mind it. I mean, I got my up to 50, and I've got almost all the spells.
Mine's like level 5 or something.
Mine's unlocked finally. I've been saving it for I guess that's what I can do when I get tired of fishing. Splendid. I have a plan.
You mean instead of, actually going and doing the Garo event?
I am very realistic about what I care about bothering.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, you can always go tend to that house of Zayla you've got.
Oh my god, no, not you two. No. How do I stab someone through the internet?
So the level cap on Blue Mage has been raised to 60.
This is your fault, Kane.
That's why we love Kane. There will be a number of new job quests added, new Mask Carnival stages. They're adding a Blue Mage log, which is nice.
I'm down for that. That's a cool idea.
You'll be able to form a party with your fellow Blue Mages and compete in specified duties. So, Blue Mage-a-palooza.
I mean, is that just so that you can finally go get all of those weird boss spells that are just a bitch to get any other way?
Well, the boss spells, at least the dungeon ones, are 100% drop now.
Oh, well, that's handy.
Yep. It's the trials and some of the overworld ones that you still have to have a little bit of RNG on your side.
That I don't mind so much, but it's if I just spent 25 minutes dragging 3 other people through this and then I don't get it, I'd be like, hey, do you want to do it again? No, of course not. I want it done.
Are easy to spam.
Yeah.
Everybody goes in unsynced.
Yep.
The warrior stands there, hits it with auto attacks the entire time and keeps enmity with no problem. And you just stand there until the spell goes off and you're done.
Yep. Or what we were doing a lot of times, we were going 4 and 4. So 4 people would be, undersized, and we would max level, destroy the thing with the Blue Mages kind of hiding in the background, making sure they don't die to mechanics. And then once the monster's dead, boom, they get their spell. Maybe.
Yep.
But if somebody gets it, they all get it, which is nice. You just keep going back and forth until then. Once they get their spell, you flip-flop, you repeat.
Yep. Be like, oh, cool, you got your spell. Great. Switch to DPS.
Yep. So that's how it worked. But they'll also be able to receive various rewards, including allied seals and tomestones. So that'll be nice. So you can actually use your Blue Mage to do some farming. And then there will be certain duties that offer bonuses that will change weekly.
That's
I'm
odd. Not sure I feel
interested
about
to
that.
see the implementation of this before I have. I'm not 100% sure what they're going for or what their ideal outcome of this is, and I'm a little curious. So I really do feel like I want to see the details.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that they are addressing it because, like I said, I went pretty hard with Blue Mage right away. And then after I got most things, I just got kind of bored of farming the last couple bits and was like, we'll just go put you off to the side for now until I want to do something later.
Well, isn't that the RPG problem, right? You get to I really want to get all the best weapons and I want to get the highest level spell and I want to get oh god, I'm level 80 and you're supposed to beat the game at level 50. Fuck it. I'm going to kill it and I'm going to play it on another playthrough. And then that game goes on your shelf for years.
Wasn't quite that
that's
bad,
that's what happens with me most of the time. I gave up on FF10 and finally just smashed checked in 2 turns.
No, I think a lot of people end up using the thing with the little exploits that where you could get XP really easy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which they fixed, thankfully.
Well, I mean, I was part of team squadron bullshit back a couple years ago when you could spam your bard's special abilities and just AoE the entire dungeon nonstop.
Oh, that was fun.
I was part of team that. That's how my healers got leveled up. So
And
yeah,
now-
there's some broken stuff.
But now, I mean, that's absolutely a feasible strat because there's no TP.
Yeah. And that's one of the other things. Like, imagine if that wasn't patched out. Now we don't have TP. Oh God, like, that's brutal.
All right. Were there any of the other job adjustments you guys wanted to discuss? Because I know there were a large number of them that were talked about.
Ninjas. So, there's a Kotaku article. Yoshida was asked. Monks were originally less popular until some changes to Grease Lightning. Now we're in the process of seeing ninjas struggle to find an identity. Basically, Yoshida's idea was that they wanted to decrease the super strong synergy between all of the jobs. So due to that, he feels they were a bit too extreme in trying to prevent any one element causing extreme synergy, end quote.
Yeah, because the moment you've got that, then it's like now we have to have these two things because it's so powerful.
But so he's kind of lowered the overall potency of the ninja's attacks. But now the ninja doesn't really do anything. So they were trying to balance trick attack. But with the ninjutsu taking 2 or more mudras, sometimes the actions kind of jump into your global cooldown, and just ninja was not interesting to play anymore. So in 5.1, they're going to be making some adjustments to ninja to make it more playable and to give it an identity. Because we always joke like, oh, there's best tank, worst tank, best healer, worst healer. But realistically, DPS, you can and should be able to use everything. But with ninjas being outclassed by damn near everything, that's tough. It's a tough sell. He also said they're going to make tweaks to Samurai and Summoner as well. All right. Seyrr, do you have any other jobs that you wanted to talk about?
So let's see. I'm looking through the notes here because I don't know why I can't remember half of this stuff from the live letter. Like, I looked at summaries, I read the stuff there, but I don't remember half of this. Talking about, here we are, changes to range DPS, it looks like. Where the... Hang on, I'm scrolling through some of the summaries because I do not remember this.
Dude, it's all good. It is an enormous wall of text.
Yeah, and there were definitely some bits that I was paying a little more attention to.
Totally fair. Totally fair. As far as the weekly Blue Mage change, does that feel kind of gotcha to you? Because it kind of did to me.
I mean, if it doesn't actually... The whole element of a gacha is that it's a slot machine where you're needing to put some currency in. Just saying, like, hey, we're going to, like, mix it up, provide some random things. I think one of the things they want to get away from is everyone just spams one thing because that is the best thing.
Yeah, that's what it seems more like to me.
Like, in general, that just becomes uninteresting. That becomes a recipe for, oh, hey, it's like, this was the best way to do it, so I spammed this dungeon 50 times, and now I'm done with the thing, but also now I'm kind of tired of the game.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, the game's boring. It's like, well, how many times have you run Sastasha unsynced to do whatever, to finish that last thing in your book, in your Wondrous Tales book? And it's like, a lot. It's like, well, how much do you like this first dungeon? I don't. Like, I've been there a lot.
But at the same time, it's not unreasonable if you tell them, hey, there are these ways to get these rewards, and this way is clearly easier than all the others. Like, it's not unreasonable to say that, okay, this is the one they start doing.
I'm not.
They're responding to a natural pressure. I can't blame them for that.
My duty finder was the same 3 dungeons all the time because they all dropped 50 Phantasmagoria. And I didn't care which one I did. And I just did 8 of those a week plus Eden and a little bit of treasure hunting, and I was capped. Like, I could cap on Tuesday by noon if I wanted to.
Yeah, like I said, same with the hunt train now. You can cap.
Yeah.
If you get on when the reset happens, you can cap 2 hours later as soon as the next train runs through.
I have gotten 340 Phantasmagoria throughout the entirety of this expansion. I've got like 8 of those little Eden Blade type things, and I still haven't been able to get a weapon.
Because you need 1,000, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because I have been bothering that little with tombstones.
Way to go, Seyrr.
Well, we also have the issue of, oh, I really want this, and then you don't get it for 3 weeks, and you go, by the time I get this, it will be outclassed by an NPC item. Why?
Yeah.
And it's so stupid that if you're behind a month, you might as well just not bother for the next 2 months. That's frustrating.
Not even necessarily that bad, but I was thinking about, hey, do I want to do a little more Eden? Since I've been outfitting both Warrior and Bard. Was talking with a friend of mine we've been doing it together usually, and it's given how close we are to your hobby, the gear there is probably going to be fairly comparable. So it's maybe just wait for that.
Well, Rory has a great point. This is what happens when you get obsessed with fish.
I have no regrets. No regrets.
Oh, God.
I love you, chat.
We're going to pick on you about fish forever, bro.
That's fair.
Well, he's got to have something to feed the Zayla.
Oh, my fucking God.
Okay, shall we move on?
Please, God.
I'm going to start reading you fish entries now.
No!
You did that last episode.
Well, it turns out there's 800 of them.
Yeah,
Plus another 100 or so if we do the spearfishing. That one I have fully completed.
All right. So anything else in the job adjustments you guys wanted to talk about?
Nah, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find any of the actual details, and without the details, I don't even know what to say about them.
I remember hearing, like I said, the jobs that I play aren't getting hit too much. I think Summoner's getting a little bit, Ninja, Samurai.
And they mentioned, some of these notes mention about buffs for ranged DPS, so that's
Astro, I think, was getting some love. But yeah, it's out there. If we find it, we'll link it somewhere. Yeah. Maybe we'll tweet about it. So
let's see. They're changing up PvP yet again, rebalancing all the actions. They've got a new frontline rule set at Onsal Hakir with the Danshig Nadam.
Yep, it's going to be on the step.
Yeah.
Neat. Those are words. I don't care. It's PvP.
Yeah. I've been trying.
I think it looks really cool, actually. But, the fact that we're getting to do PvP out on the step, kind of like we did with the big Nadam. Is that what it was called, the Nadam? When we in the story mode thing.
Danshig Nadam is a real world term. It's like a kind of traveling tour religious cultural festival.
Interesting. But this one, in Final Fantasy XIV, it involves fighting.
Well, I mean, it should. Combat's the fun part.
Let's see. Mongolia TripAdvisor.
What?
The step is based off of Mongolia.
Oh, yes, but
they have their own TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
I love to add that into Skyscanner as places I like to go.
This one even talks about during the festival a number of interesting events, including contests among monks. So, fighting might be a part of that as well.
Sure.
That's really neat.
I mean, it is.
I did not realize just how much of this was based off of real world stuff. Not a religious festival.
Come on, Seyrr, you're the librarian. You know how much of this stuff is actually based off of real world stuff.
Well, sure. And I figured the terminology they were playing, but I didn't realize this was something that's still going on.
In fairness, we did just literally throw him into a rabbit hole and expect him to come right back out. It's not going to happen.
I don't know. He's pretty resilient.
Truth.
And he bounces.
That I will have to take your word on.
I'm concerned about the direction of this conversation.
The wonderful thing about
Moving on to
our kimonos are wonderful things.
We are done. We are done. Hey, there's this other cool thing that's coming out in 5.1.
I'm actually excited about this. New Game Plus.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I want to play through Heavensward again because it's been so long. I remember enjoying the experience and I remember little clips. But I want to play through the Warrior of Darkness storyline again because that's super relevant again. I want to play through sections of that again without it being 4 months between each chapter.
And you can.
And in fact, they they had a surprisingly more granular interface for it than I expected, and a lot more options.
I was expecting to kind of get okay, you want a New Game Plus? This is what you're doing for the next 2 hours. And I'm like, well, no, that's not really what I wanted. I want to watch the cutscenes, but I also want to do all those fights. I want to do that fight again where we go into Ralger's Reach and do combat in Ralger's Reach before it's a zone that we can go to.
Yep.
Like, I want to be able to do that again, and this is finally going to let us do that.
Yep. They've split each of the expansions into 4 parts. The main scenario, or the main drop, is split into 2. And then there's basically like patch 0.1 to 0.3 is going to be the next one. And then 0.4 to 0.55 is going to be the last one.
So, for example, Heaven's Word Part 1 and Part 2, and then Dragon Song War and Post-Dragon Song War.
Yep.
Yeah, which is a perfectly fine split, actually. That works pretty well.
And each chapter must be played from the beginning. So if you're going to jump into it and you want to play through the first part of Heaven's Word, you have to play through the entirety of the first half of Heaven's Word.
Please set aside adequate time to view these cutscenes.
That said, it looks like New Game they were mentioning that New Game Plus mode is kind of a mode that you can enter and leave into, so you can be like, okay, I'm done with New Game Plus, scene back to current content.
Yep. And there's one save, so you can work on it as you want to, and save your progress, and then go back into it at a later time.
But they don't. You can. And I'm guessing just as like a difficulty of implementation or resources type thing, you can't have like, okay, here's my 20 different bookmarks and I'm constantly jumping back and forth between these things.
Correct. So basically it just starts from beginning, you work through it, or you go up to as far as you want to, and then you would quit it and start another section.
They do also mention that the instance battles are going to be level synced, so you still get to enjoy them at the challenging difficulty they would have been, and you don't get quest rewards.
I believe you also don't get experience.
I'd be okay with that, because otherwise, like, you get to 77 or whatever. It's like, hey, I guess what we're doing for the next couple hours, we're playing through Heaven's Word again.
I mean, it would be nice to be able to run through like a 50 or level 50 or 60 character and run them through the main scenario and get bonus experience, but I understand them not wanting to do it that way.
No, it's...
I mean, but then you have people who, again, are going to feel obligated to do it because it is the most efficient or whatever, where it's like they're doing it in order to try to get the XP rather than because they actually want to revisit the storyline.
Yeah, but I mean,
in that case, I don't know that there's a particular reason to encourage them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern with that then is is basically the people who are going to run it then is going to be limited.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people who like really loved a lot of those scenario beats, stuff like in Heaven's Word, that bit where we have the grand melee. That was a really fun and exciting bit, and I think people would like a chance to do it again, to observe a bit more of what's going on, to try a couple different things, or people who are making some type of role-playing video or other things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can see content creators actually getting a lot of use out of it.
Yeah, not needing to make an entire new character and run them through again just to be able to get this bit.
So what they've said is Heaven's Word, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers will be available, but because they are working on streamlining ARR, that is not yet available. They'll put that into New Game Plus once they have fixed that. So it'll be an opportunity for us then, who maybe don't want to create a new character in 2.x and run them through that way. It'll allow us an opportunity to run through it with our existing character and see what changes were made.
Mm-hmm. That'll be nice, because I do want to see it. Like, I want to see what's going on, but I don't really want to start at 0.
Yeah.
I've done it, and it's awful.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember beta?
Yeah.
When we had to make a new character every Friday?
Yeah.
For like 2 months. That was horrid. I don't ever want to do that again.
I got in on the beta later, I guess.
There was a bit of that kind of thing.
Yeah. It wiped every weekend for a while, and it was just horrendous because we just never got anywhere. It's like you had the hunting log memorized. Like, it was that bad.
Because, I mean, the point of it was to, like, be testing out the systems and all of that, not necessarily to be providing you with an advanced look at the game.
True.
All right, so hopefully New Game Plus becomes something a lot of people end up utilizing, because it seems interesting.
Yeah, I think especially given that you've got stuff with the more recent parts of the plot where it's making reference to earlier things, I think you're going to have a lot of people who want to rewatch it, refamiliarize themselves with it. There's been a lot more interest in the storyline at this point.
Yeah, people are maybe regretting their cutscene skipping. I want to go back and see it again.
Damn right they are.
Though no, they're not.
They better.
Now we were kind of hinting at this at the beginning of the show. There is a crafting and gathering revamp planned for patch 5.1 and 5.2. So it's not getting completely redone in October, but the first parts of it will be implemented in patch 5.1, and then I'm assuming then about 3 months after that. So
those changes look to make it a lot more acceptable for multi-part crafts, for stuff with a lot of different dependencies.
Because a lot of the crafts right now are getting very complex.
Yeah, they're really complex. They're very long. There's a lot of stuff that, let's be real, we buy some of the steps because it's just easier.
Mm-hmm.
But
hey, that's how you keep an economy going for the little crafter.
Oh, for sure.
That's
I
true.
I catered a wedding last week. I cheated my butt off on it, dude. I bought so much pre-made stuff. It was ridiculous because it was just cheaper than buying it and making it myself, and it came with similar qualities, so why not? And
Is that even really cheating?
no, I mean, that's
There we go.
business, right? But that's when we're trying to make something, especially if you craft and gather, people with less powerful systems to play on, less than great Wi-Fi, they end up falling into the crafting and gathering pretty hard because it's something that they can do reasonably well with a less than great connection.
Yep.
And so you've got these people that are doing this constantly and have hundreds of millions of gil. Yes, really, I've seen them. It's scary. And you're like, why? And like, because I can't do anything else. But even they're saying, okay, I need 19 items in my inventory. And if I have to craft 3 things and they're all HQ, and then I get this HQ level 80 piece of whatever that's outclassed in 3 months when the next patch comes out, and you can buy something with the unlimited tomes. Like, that's frustrating. That's super frustrating. So getting crafting down to where it's more reasonably manageable, to where it's like, it's a level 55 craft, you're level 80, you have the soul of the creator on it or whatever, you should be able to look at a tree and have it turn itself into boards at that point. You should be so good at it. You should never have a chance to fail, and it shouldn't take half your inventory to do it. I'm hoping that the fixes get to where it's a little bit more streamlined so that people who want to craft but are bad at resource management or are just tired of all the amount of stuff you need can actually craft and still enjoy the process of doing it.
You mean 4 retainers full of mats?
4 or 8 or alts, or just or a free company that you yourself are in, and that's it, so that you have a free company chest to yourself too.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much storage space people need, air quotes need, just to high level craft. But then we also have things like HQ materials for sub 60 crafts. Okay, that's cool. I have a stack of 700 of them. They do not need to be HQ once you're level 80.
That's true.
They just don't. So now you try to sell them. You're like, well, the NQ ones are 700 gil. The HQ ones are 3,000 gil. The people who are at level 25 or whatever need the HQ ones. Nobody else does. So we have these wonky inventories of stuff we can't sell and stuff we don't need, and stuff that isn't worth throwing away.
Yeah, it's a tough line to try and figure out, but
so
like I said,
hopefully the crafting and gathering fixes. Honestly, I feel like it's going to fix the inventory system.
I just hope it doesn't end up crashing the economies.
Because of the world visit system and the advent of people reporting sale prices for high ticket items like materia all over the servers, people, myself included, will go world visit, buy a pile of mats somewhere, come back to their home world and sell them at a profit. That is already happening, but that happened for several months, and now it's balanced out. So hopefully the crash won't be so bad.
There's
It's
actually
it's arbitrage. Like having World Visit turns it from a whole bunch of separate worlds into one kind of combined world. So it makes sense that stuff would equalize out to a degree. Not perfectly, because there's still some effort and time involved in going back and forth between places, but it's arbitrage. It's normal.
I mean, there's actually a couple of websites now that are able to report prices on multiple servers. So
if you look at the Crystal data center prices versus the Aether data center prices, they're completely different, because people on Crystal are buying jump potions for a combat class, running to all the zones and hitting all the Aetherites, and then standing in an FC house and crafting all day. People on Aether are trying to world first a whole bunch of stuff. It's very different play groups. Obviously, each individual server and play group is different. I acknowledge that. I mean, we've got role players here on Hyperion. You know, that's a real thing too.
And people are on Primal are running hunt trains.
Exactly. Like we've got different groups of people just in general. And so yeah, when you see, there's a crap load of crafters and gatherers, and damn near everybody on this data center is doing it, and almost everybody has max ranks in a couple of things. Yeah, crafting's kind of, crafts are cheap here.
Yeah, it's
because
really inexpensive.
everybody's got them. You come out here to Primal, where, let's be real, a lot of Hyperion is working professionals. This server dies at 10 p.m. Pacific time. Like, everybody goes to bed. Like, we know that we're only playing for 3 or 4 hours, 4 or 5 days a week, some of us. And it's like that, those people aren't going to be spending their time gathering. They're just not. And so gatherable items, yeah, you can charge 1 million gil for 1 unit of something, because I'm not going to spend 10 hours leveling up my crafting and getting gear to go do it. I'm just going to spend 1 million gil and buy it. It's a weird mentality, and I love that it happened. But if we end up with a system of the new revamp crafting and gathering, and if it changes how people buy and how people gather and how people make stuff, we are going to see values on the market board change dramatically for the first little bit. And then, as Seyrr mentioned, it will level out in time, but the first bit is going to be shocking, big time.
Yeah. So let's go over some of these changes that are coming.
Yes.
In crafting, so the actions will be adjusted. We don't know how yet, but there's going to be an adjustment, because there's a lot of actions. Lot of actions. I mean, they've already streamlined it a bit by getting rid of the elemental ones.
Yeah,
Different brands
and they,
and such.
given how necessary Birgot's blessing was to things, just putting it in and stripping out a couple of those that I know a few people said they used Birgot's brow or other things like that, but they were in a very tiny minority.
Yeah, most people use blessing.
So my roommate and I both craft. We actually had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, where he was trying to show me how to do upper level crafting, and I was trying to show him how to do collectibles. And we're talking 20 plus step crafting from zero, from NQ materials, at max level crafters with top tier gear. We were going for basically the same thing, 100% HQ versus maximum collectability. We used completely different skills.
Yeah.
I don't think we even shared a single skill the entire tree that we used.
A couple of different legit
Not even
rotations
basics
out there.
like tricks of the trade?
I don't need it.
Huh.
What?
Interesting.
Yeah,
you and I use very different methods, apparently.
Yeah,
so we're demonstrating.
And this is where we're at, where it's like, how many skills do we have? Too freaking many. Because if you and me can both sit down with the exact same 7 items and the exact same 8 crystals, exact same skills available with the exact same gear on the exact same class, hit different buttons, and 3 minutes from now pop out the same item, that's dumb. Like, we should probably, like, that's weird.
There's part of me that feels like, hey, that makes it interesting, but yeah.
Do we need that kind of intricacy within a video game crafting system?
God, I hope not.
I mean, is it neat that we have it? Hell yeah. I think it's really cool that Final Fantasy XIV has one of the most profound and interesting crafting systems in video games. But it doesn't need to be so complex that you have to have your own factory, so to speak, to get everything going.
It doesn't need to be so complex that three
Yeah.
people can sit down and use different skills and craft the same thing.
Then again,
That's
but
bizarre.
it does need to be better than what we had in 11.
I mean, I play Atelier games for fun, so like crafting is a thing, but my god,
Oh,
11
I
was
need
so
to ask
hard.
you about this later.
11 was hard. Like 11 was just straight up difficult.
Like, I need to know about these games with the complex crafting. We'll talk later.
They are fun.
Okay, so
Excellent.
moving on. There's going to be a new recipe tree display, which is basically going to show you the steps of the on the way versus having to like search through numerous different crafting recipes. So you're going to be able to see step by step how to get to your end craft, which would be nice.
Yeah, it's always been a little frustrating when you have one of those complex ones where it's like, oh, you need this thing, and this thing. Okay, how much ore do I need to get that? And I've used a lot of crafting calculators, I think other people have as well, to just be like, tell me how much ore I need. Tell me how many logs I need. I'll put it all together after, but give me the starter.
Yes.
Give me the okay, I need 18 of this and 13 of this and 12 of this and 5 of this and 99 of this. Cool. And then you sit there and switch between 4 classes to get a stick, a very sharp stick with some metal on it. Like, neat. But my god, this did not need to take 4 things. That tree, what I would love is if you could select out of that tree and say, I want this, and you switch to woodworker and you make the thing, and then you say, I want this, and you switch to blacksmith and you make the thing.
I mean, that's a thing that's been brought up. I mean, the fact that we have 11 different classes for crafting and gathering, when realistically a lot of it can be brought down to 5.
5.
So it's interesting because a lot of this, I had the words in my head. 1.0 crafts had a lot of this, like to a degree that was even more so. Where it's like, okay, you take this ore and you turn it into an ingot. Now you take that and turn it into a buckle, and you need to turn this into like a strap. And so you would be making a lot of the individual pieces.
Yeah, there were a lot more components.
When they released A Realm Reborn, they went ahead and streamlined a lot of it. And you'll notice a lot of the early recipes are very, very simple.
Yeah.
But the complexity creep came back though. I mean, I think
I think part of that was just
the worst ones, just for how many different ingredients you have to go collect.
But I think at least also part of that was just hey, as you're getting to higher levels, as you have more complex recipe things, as you have people who are ostensibly getting better at crafting, you should have slightly more complex recipes. You should have stuff that's a little more interesting.
Then I would say at that point, make them more difficult to create or make the ingredients more difficult to procure. Don't make us get so many different types of them together. I mean, they went both routes, and they made them not only very difficult to craft, but made the ingredients very, very, very difficult to procure.
But I mean, if you say make it difficult to craft, a lot of that's just like, okay, we just keep increasing the numbers on this thing. That's not necessarily interesting.
Power creep is boring.
Where I guess the interesting part, though, comes in how you end up utilizing the skills we get, which is why we have so many skills.
I mean, I've been generally fine with the way things are, but I enjoy organizing supply chains.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm
the one who does the assembly of submarine parts for my free company.
How many subs do you have?
2, though I've got plans for another. I am about the only person who's supplying ingredients, so as I said, it becomes an exercise in supply chain management, which it turns out I'm passable at.
I need to make a second one, which means I need to upgrade the first one.
I need some goddamn Kamacite ore! Oh.
But I mean, like, with everything that we've said, though, I still believe that 14 has one of the better crafting and gathering systems out there.
Oh yeah, it's actually interesting.
Yes,
but fun.
It would be nice to see.
Yeah,
I mean, we have had our warrior, our classes of magic and war and all of that. They've had their simplifications. It is time to have crafters and gatherers get their simplification as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So then So basically, we're looking at beyond that. We're gonna have. There's going to be a kind of a quality of life thing for the Japanese players where kanji symbol used for collectibles will be changed so it's easier to read. Certain items will always be gathered as collectibles, or maybe this may mean crafted as collectibles.
I think it's gathered.
Yeah, because that it's funny because they put that one in the crafting one when there's actually a gathering one. So
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just a general collectibles thing because there are some items that have no use aside from being collectibles.
very true.
So if you don't hit that little gold box at some point,
You can't
end up
collect
with
it.
you end up with a completely worthless item. And if
Yeah.
those materials were 30,000 gil a pop, and you don't notice it for 3 or 4 crafts. Yeah, I've done that.
Maybe
Sucks.
it makes it so that you actually cannot craft it until you have your collectibles turned on.
That'd be cool.
Because I know there are certain items that you have to craft a collectible version, but it also has a version that is usable in the real game. So,
Yeah, I mean, like that, plenty of food or armor or other things like that. Rowenas will happily take them.
Yep. Adjustments to quick synth success rates would be nice, and the one we had talked about in past shows, the adjustments to desynth.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people that just spent 11 million gil getting their desynth up, but I guess that sucks. I don't know what to tell you.
Take advantage of your exclusive desynth skills while you can.
Yep. Same with crafters. Crafters right now, if you look at the market board, the stuff that's up there and the prices it's at is weird because people are clearing out their inventories because they have absolutely no idea what the end of October is going to look like.
Yep. Gathering system updates. So again, actions will be adjusted. Actions used to locate unspoiled nodes will be automated.
Thank God.
So I actually currently have mine set to macros. So every time I switch to one of my gatherers, I have macros that turn on those skills.
And I mean, they already have things like auto prospect or auto fathom, so there's no reason they can't do it for the other.
Yep, which will be nice. So that means I can adjust those and it'll be ready to go. Items at unspoiled nodes will not appear as unknown or be out of reach.
That means we can actually get them.
Yes. I don't have to waste however many hours between spawns, in order to, the first one where I go to a brand new one that I've never been to before, I have to basically waste that first one and not get the proper collectible or...
It's such a little thing, but it's so annoying.
It is.
It is. Because you're like, oh, cool, I got it. Now what?
Yeah, now I have to wait an hour for it to come back so I can get it and actually use it as a collectible turn-in.
Yep. Especially because with collectibles, you lose a gathering attempt and you've effectively fucked up your rotation.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Yep. Stealth actions replaced by sneak and can be used while mounted and not affect movement speed. Thank God.
Yeah, because, oh God, was it super annoying to just, crawl everywhere.
Yeah. And or mount real quick and fly as fast as you can and hope you don't get hit by something that might be nearby.
Please don't murder me.
Yeah, I mean, and you got, 5,000 HP? Actually, I think it's almost 8,000 HP now on high level.
They actually put vitality gear on the gathering stuff for that reason.
Yep. I was wondering about that, and now it's like, oh, that's why.
Quick gathering will be added. So if you just want to gather massive amounts of things, you'll probably just click on quick gather and it will just get...
I imagine it just does all of your hits on that particular.
Oh, hey, there's nothing at this tree, but there's ice crystals. Wham, cool, I have 5. Move on. I'm in. That'd be great. That'd be super helpful.
Again, the Japanese kanji adjusted. Adjustments to gathering rates and item yields. Hooray. Maybe some of those more difficult to get things are going to be maybe a little bit more easy to get.
That'd be cool.
And I imagine some of it's also just easing supply of other stuff. Thinking again about things like creating airship and submersible parts. The amount of times where it's okay, I need to gather 50 things of Mithril ore. Or I'll
500 dark steel. Yeah. And figure out a way to get 4,000 coke. Wait, I can't get those on gathering.
Where it's at this point, it's another one of those things where you have to make the early stuff easier, or else you pretty much pull up the ladder behind you and no one wants to bother.
Yep. And then the last one they mentioned, elemental shard yields will be adjusted.
That'll be nice.
Now, up or down? That's the question.
Probably up.
I know that, but the thing is,
Getting
shards have been used by botters and gill sellers as quick cash.
Sure. And one of the reasons they use as quick cash is because, hey, everyone needs shards, but it becomes annoying to get them. If you make it easy to get them,
That's true.
their value goes down.
That is true.
Supply demand, yay.
Though I do have thousands of shards still, so.
Yeah, I mean, I did a couple rounds of growing and sending out my retainers when I literally ran out of ice shards while making more cobalt for the submersible. So I know with dedicated stuff and, quite frankly, multiple people who would let me use their gardens, it's possible to generate a bit. But that's a big if in some of those cases.
True. All right, last bit of information regarding crafting and gathering. Ishgard Restoration.
What? That's actually coming? I knew it was coming, but like, it's real?
In 5.1. We don't know if it's going to come right at the drop of 5.1, but it's something coming. It is content designed for crafters and gatherers, and it's not just the high-end crafters and gatherers. Anybody should be able to contribute. I'm wondering if they're going to maybe say you have to be at least level 70. But you don't have to be level 80 is the thing.
Can we
I just hope it doesn't turn into something where it advances all stuff and you can't see what the various areas look like. I always worry about that with areas that grow and evolve.
It is a per server thing.
Yeah.
I want it to be level 60 because that's the, air quotes, max level for Heavensward areas. So you're going to be new players, which we're hopefully going to have a few, TGS and PAX. You know, they're going to get to Ishgard. I would love for them to be able to get involved with this rebuilding. And then all of us level 80 old guys are coming down and be like, oh yeah, no, this is a new thing that's right now that you're still part of, that you're a valuable part of.
We'll have to see.
That would be cool.
There'll be more info coming on it in the near future. But for what we know right now, players must work together to build a new area called the Firmament.
Please look forward to it.
You'll contribute through a number of tasks, including item deliveries.
Oh, I'm having flashbacks to Hamlet Defense.
And then the progress of restoration will differ between worlds. So, like I said, if you have a world that is working really hard to progress it fast, you know, they could get to the next bit or finish a current bit before another one. I still have a feeling that they're going to cap it at certain points. So you can't just say get all your highest level crafters and gatherers together and knock it out in a week.
That'd be amazing. I would love to see the timeline of who gets it done first.
Yeah. I'm betting how it's going to work. I mean, this is just my guesstimate. They're probably going to split it up in 4 or 5 different sections. So, you know, you'll have, and they'll probably space them out a couple weeks apart, maybe a month apart. And you'll just have to turn in all these different things. You guys remember a couple of years ago, the Little Ladies Day event?
Mm-hmm.
Where we had to find doll parts?
And then they were building up those, the various mannequins on the display.
Correct. And that was also a per server thing.
Was it?
Yes.
Yep.
Each server had their own progress. Though we couldn't go to other servers and see how they were doing, we were kind of learning about it through the subreddits. You know, people post pictures as, oh, hey, Siren is this far on the Little Ladies Day event. Hyperion is here. Excalibur's here. You know, that kind of thing. So I'm wondering if it'd be something similar to that. But you can only get to a certain cap until they release the next part. Like, the amount of progress you could gain in a certain amount of time was limited.
Interesting. I wasn't paying super close attention to that, clearly. But that being said, that kind of feels like they were testing the waters to see, like, would this work? Is this interesting? Will players respond well to this? And we did.
I want to say they had something similar, a similar type of thing in Final Fantasy XI through some of their seasonal events. where each server had their own progress on the Treant events and things like that, and the Abisu events. You remember those, don't you?
Oh God, forever ago.
Yep, where you could gain. You had to find different things and turn them in, and it would progress the quest lines in there, and you get further on and further on. Each server was a little bit different, I think. So yeah, it's something that they've been messing with for a while, but it'd just be nice to see it on a larger scale now. We'll actually be able to go back and forth between worlds and see their progress. Now, here's the big question that I have: will we be able to help other worlds?
I'm kind of doubtful. Given the other restrictions they have on world visit stuff, I would just imagine they make it so you can't turn in items when you're visiting.
I think it would be nice to be able to do that, though. Let's say there's a world that's struggling, and we're done, where we could go there and say, "Hey, we're here to help you guys build up Ishgard."
I mean, I imagine if there was like one that was really struggling, they'd just start word thing. They just start like giving it various benefits or other things to help it.
Adjusting the difficulty.
Yeah.
They will nerf crafting
On one world.
on just one world.
On just Ultros, I mean.
Oh God. Oh, poor Ultros.
But I mean, it's an interesting concept. I like to see how it pans out. Like I said, I really would like to see the ability for worlds to help each other and see how it goes. I mean, I definitely won't be helping another world until ours is done, but
For sure.
I still think it'd be a really nice thing to be able to do. Maybe that's something they can unlock once your world has completed. Then you'll be able to help others.
That'd be cool.
So we'll have to see what happens. Oh, and speaking of being able to help other people, they're adding a new type of community within Final Fantasy XIV called fellowships. You'll be able to form casual communities similar to free companies and link shells. They're basically loosely knit. How's that? I can speak today. Groups of players who share similar interests, and they can accommodate up to 1,000 players.
I see this as being useful for something like, say, A Stage Reborn announcing their shows.
It's not a link shell per se, though. You're not going to be able to chat. Like, it's not going to be a chat channel.
Right.
What?
I mean, that's it. Like, you can, you're able to do announcements and things like
announcements. There's going to be some sort of like a board. So I'm wondering if maybe it'll be kind of like a, like the, how do I want to word the posting board, like at work or something like that. You know what I mean? A bulletin board.
The bulletin board type thing.
So maybe you'll be able to like pull that up and go into it and type in like an announcement or something like that, a message board. Yeah, like Rory said in the chat, and but not have these long drawn out conversations like we have in our link shells right now.
I just feel like this is kind of unnecessary. We already have cross-world link shells. We already have free companies. We already have friends lists.
Crossroad link shells are very small. I believe.
I
think they're still limited to 64.
Yeah. Like I said, I see this more useful for something like A Stage Reborn, where you can have like, hey, there's a whole bunch of people who are following it, who they can push out announcements to without necessarily having be a discussion type thing. Like for institutions like that.
It could also be very helpful for content creators on a data center. Like we could work with Gather Together and or other podcasts, YouTubers, other types of content creators, and we can all work together and we can help our communities reach out to their communities and do some cross promotion and open up that way. Because I mean, 1,000 people is a lot. We could definitely get a bunch of people together and help each other's groups grow. So I mean, it could be very helpful for something along those lines. I'd see it being maybe a really cool thing. Maybe work in conjunction with the Hunt Discords that we have.
I can actually see being really helpful. Hunt starts at X.
Yep. Though I see a lot of this actually being, done with things that are outside the game, like Discord, like engine websites, like Line, a number of other different calendaring and message board apps that are out there that people use for their groups.
But it's nice to have those options without necessarily having to. I mean, this is something that a lot of people are always surprised to hear, but like digital divide still being a thing, people not necessarily having a computer to go on this, not having anything aside from, say, their phone for browsing sites. And it's like, hey, requiring these other apps or sites or stuff like that. For a lot of them, like more casual or like less plugged in people, this is something that's hard. And a lot of especially lower income folks don't necessarily have that access.
Yeah, it'll be a really
so
nice...
having something in game as an accessible thing for that is really nice for a large population.
Absolutely, like I said, and for the people who are playing on PS4, it would be very helpful for them. Like I said, I guess I am a PC player. I have 3 monitors right now, full of just windows and windows of content. I've got Discord, I've got our show notes, I have my OBS stuff. I got so much information overload in front of me. The ability to maybe simplify it within game could be nice. Or it would be a way to kind of maybe link in between the different areas.
Mm-hmm.
I could give people a link to the Discord, to our website, to a really cool video I found, helping to learn a crafting rotation.
Yeah. The other thing, of course, is if it's something where if it's something where people start becoming like dependent on and based around this ad hoc thing with like, hey, use Discord or use Engine, what happens if any of those services ever goes away?
That's true.
Yeah, remember when we logged into 11 again about a year and a half ago and all the link pearls were broken and we could never find anybody again?
Yeah, that was me when that
was me too.
When my server got migrated into another one, all my link pearls were gone. I was like, okay, this is no more fun. Goodbye.
Yeah, like I'm not starting from scratch on a game that came out in 2001.
Yep.
I'm just not. That sounds horrible. I loved 11, but my God, is it over?
But yeah, a single player can make or join up to 10 fellowships with no world restrictions, so long as they're within the same data center. So like I said, it's got to be within Primal, Crystal, or Aether for now. There have been talks about them wanting to open it up to where they can open the data centers up to.
I mean,
that's
cool, but boy, that's gonna be a bitch to program.
Yeah,
the dream for any MMO is to not have to have multiple servers, to just have like, oh hey, here's all the things. Everyone's in one single world. Having multiple servers is a way you work around other limitations.
Yeah, because I mean, to have a computer or a cluster, large enough to handle the number of people who play this game, it's impossible. But if you shard it off and make different instances.
Right. But I mean, like the long-term goal is to try to make it so the shards effectively get reunited. Rejoining, if you will.
Oh, God.
I swear to God, if they make the hardware
we have Emmett Seyrr
part of
now.
The lore, I would be so impressed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the librarian, Emmett Seyrr.
Oh, shit. No.
Anyways, so my cheeky jokes about this aside, having everyone being able to play on a single thing and not having to have stuff be separated is the ideal. It's just that the hardware limitations often make that impossible.
Yeah, but I mean...
it's something, at least hardware limitations given what's currently available. But it's also something that, hey, they want to try to work towards making that stuff more accessible.
And the ability to go across data center is the first step.
Yep.
Now we just need to figure out a way to join the data centers together.
Well, I mean, technically, the ability to go cross-world was the first step.
Well, that's what I mean by the data centers.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Primal, Aether, Crystal.
Intra-data center, not inter-data center.
Yeah, then this next step is going to be going cross-data center. Sorry. Anyway, I meant...
It took me a moment to understand the phrasing. No worries.
Okay.
If we could bring people from other data centers into instances, that would be great. Like, even if the instance was a house per se, that would still be really, really nice. Getting it into overworld, that's gonna be hard.
Well, it's going to be the ability to transfer your character data from your home server to one of the others in a different physical data center is going to be where the difficulty is going to lie, especially when you're talking about a data center that is thousands of miles away.
Yeah, like, okay, I need to move. Yeah, it's just data, and yes, it's moving from system to system at 12 times the speed of light or whatever the hell it is. Like, cool, but that's still gonna be a challenge to move from where the servers in the U.S., California.
Yep. L.A.
And then and then the servers are in there. That's right, they're in El Segundo, and the UK ones, like I believe they're in the UK, or they might be in like
they're in the UK.
Okay, so like that's a
or the ones in Japan.
Yeah, so like we have to move this from Shinjuku to El Segundo. Not hard. There's just an ocean, but like
it's not an insignificant amount of data that has to move. I mean, right now I can move between Hyperion and Excalibur pretty fast because it's just moving physically.
It's accessing data.
Yeah, it's not difficult to link up those systems together. Because they're very closely, they're close together, and it's just a bit of fiber or copper connecting the two, so you can have very high-speed links. But going between physically disparate areas, you don't get that kind of speed available still. So trying to move, a couple of gigs of data potentially between the servers, it's going to take a couple of minutes.
Exactly. Like we don't have our characters are not. We have 0 and then we gain 1s. It's we have all the 0s and then we gain an extremely small fraction of the 1s. So our characters have every single item in the game on us at all times. They're just not visible because we don't have them in our inventory or available somewhere. They're all set to 0.
Hasn't been turned to a 1 yet.
Exactly. We still have 4 fucktillion items with us at all times.
I'm sure they've simplified it there a little bit.
We just explicitly have 0 of them.
Exactly. It's the way games are designed is kind of amazingly magical when you start looking at it, but like at some level this is still a video game. It isn't quite qualified for quantum computing where we can work beyond binary, but there's a lot going on, and moving 1.5 gigs of data across the server, that could take a couple minutes. And if there's a lot of people doing it, you remember when world transfers first came out, you would just go make a sandwich and come back and you might be on Ultros by the time you got back. It would take a couple minutes.
Yeah, or when you actually physically wanted to move your character, before world visits became a thing.
And we would just buy the transfers?
Yeah, and they said that could take a couple hours.
Yeah, and they usually didn't, but some people were like, oh, I couldn't log in for 2 hours, and then I logged in and half my stuff was gone, but it was all at the Calamity Salvager, and it's like, oh god, like we're not perfect. Like we haven't gotten this nailed down yet. Weird shit can still happen.
But yeah, so that's anyway. How do we get on that tangent?
I have no idea. Let's talk about performance updates and Gold Saucer.
Oh, you want to skip the rest of the Fellowship bit?
It is currently 8:30.
Okay. Well,
just saying.
Yeah, I don't know that there's that much interesting to say about it at this point.
Okay. Well, it could be cool. We'll have to see how their implementation works.
Lots of things could be, but I don't know we're in a position to say much.
All right. So Gold Saucer, we're getting a new Yojimbo Gate.
Did you see the image for it?
I did not. I'm sorry.
It's Yojimbo surrounded by giant bamboo, and he has his sword out in the bamboo, doing the whole
Let me take a look here.
The ninja thing where all you see them do is draw and sheathe the sword, and then the bamboo falls in half. It's that.
Oh, so
beautiful.
It's great.
So it's Yojimbo's version of Funga.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe
because it is held in the same area as Funga. On the round in the event square, the big round stage in the middle.
Yep.
All right, and there will be a New updates to Domain Mahjong in high res.
Excellent.
Ooh baby.
Yay.
Honestly, looking at the picture of the Yojimbo one, I suspect it's like, all the various things like in the Return to Evil server where like they slice the tower and then the tower falls and you don't want to be in the wrong spot.
Yes.
Actually, that does look like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. So maybe it's like Funga in that you need to choose a spot, but now you're going to get crushed. Or not. Maybe.
I'd be down for that.
It does look kind of neat. Performance, we're getting ensembles.
So we can actually sync up and actually like play music and people can hear what we're playing.
Versus have to multi-box and use that to travel worlds and do amazing performances.
Yeah. And like being able to have the music synchronized, I think is going to be really nice. Because especially if you're trying to play with other people, making sure that what sounds synced up on your side sounds synced up to the listeners.
Which is really hard. Like, have you seen we did the Minfinius Madness, the cheerleaders that somehow managed to get their dances synced up? That was amazing, like timing, like using different emotes at different times to create like ripple effects across player characters. It was insanely cool. How the hell are we supposed to do that without a crazy amount of time? And now they're giving us that for performances.
For performance, yep. And they'll work on doing other things, to help synchronize for role-playing options in the future. So, So I mean, because if this works well with performance, like I said, we can probably start doing stuff like that with the emotes and things like that.
That'd be great. I'd be down for that.
They're adding a new horn instrument. Performance assistance feature showing BPM, beat, a performance guide, a gamepad guide.
I was meant to learn to play the piano.
Well, see, I still want to actually get a USB keyboard that I can use to program in keyboard, like actual keyboard stuff into a piano keyboard style so I can actually play it.
Oh, that would be awesome because I know you can actually play. So like getting yourself an instrument would be fun.
Yes, but trying to find one that's inexpensive enough to make it worthwhile. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I can make it work with Final Fantasy XIV, I might actually get back into piano again.
That'd be fun.
It would be, but like I said, it's trying to find the right one. If anybody out there is a musical person and is familiar with a USB keyboard that I can use to program in actual keyboard shortcuts so I can create a nice layout for it, please let me know. Or if you have questions on what the hell I'm trying to say, because two different types of keyboards. That's where it gets confusing.
Yeah. Okay. Not the ones that go click click that have WASD.
Yep, the ones that go da-da-da-da-da, and have black and white keys.
The ones that play the prelude.
Yes. And then some miscellaneous updates. A new custom deliveries client, Kai Seyrr.
Does everybody have all their custom deliveries clients maxed out?
Yep.
Yep.
Good.
I know a lot of people who
Kai Seyrr,
don't.
that was the one who was trying to get into Yulmore on Alphino's reputation as a great trader, right?
Yes, actually, I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he's getting it together.
Yay. Are we going to get to dress him up then, too?
I hope so.
I'm putting the pig head on him.
Oh my god.
No, he gets the frog head.
Every day we move farther and farther from God's light.
Pets are going to be displayed in the party again.
Why?
Because they get lost otherwise.
But they don't have... I mean, I guess it's so you can target them.
Yeah,
that's probably why.
The pet owner, not for everybody else.
Ooh, okay, that's fine then.
They were never
else needs to be able to interact with it.
They were never in the party for everybody else. I don't think, were they?
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
I don't play casters. I don't know.
Weapon rewards added to completion of level 51 to 59, 61 to 69, and 71 to 79 dungeons. That'll be nice. So you'll be able to upgrade your weapons a little bit easier as you're leveling up.
Sweet.
The bicolor gemstone cap going to 1,000. Thank God. I wish it was 4,000 though. I would. I mean, because it would make it a little bit easier to spam fate grinding to get max rep in each zone.
That'd be cool.
But
So
I
you
mean,
can
I
just grind and
understand.
get it done.
Yeah, because I mean that's part of the reason why I haven't done a lot of it, because I mean it's really easy to get to 1,000 bicolored gemstones, or 500 even. I mean, 1,000 won't be that much more difficult, but it's
True.
still nice to be able to hold more. New group pose features to be added. Brightness setting and character display toggle for non-party members, so you can change that. And meals can now be eaten while sitting.
Woo!
So you don't have to RP that you're eating. You can actually sit at the table and eat one of the meals sitting in front of you in your house. And there you go. Or you can also eat like raid food or something like that while you're sitting out on the bench.
I mean, when you eat stuff, you usually like pull out the little thing like the wine skin or the mug or whatever, and or the kebab, and you eat it.
Yep. Or yeah, you drink the bottle, or you sip the cup, or yeah, whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, some nice little things. So yeah, we are at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about lore, or do you want to wait?
Let's save it for next time. It's running long. I honestly barely slept last night, and I am kind of out of it. So I'd like to finish putting this together properly.
So we may end up coming back to this zone to do the lore, because it was going to be about the Tempest. So look forward to that, guys.
Please look forward to it.
All right. So if we're going to go ahead and call it then that'll do it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to like, subscribe, or follow us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or whatever your favorite podcast listening service is. And if possible, please leave a rating or review, because it helps people find us out there and lets us know what you guys are thinking of our show. You know, we're trying to do the best thing we can here, and we'd like to know what you think. If you really dig this show, you can consider subscribing here at Twitch. It is still September, so the first level 1, tier 1 subscription is half price, so $2.50, thanks to Twitch and Subway. So you can subscribe here at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio, or you can go out to patreon.com/PhoenixDownRadio and be a patron like our lovely friend Aurori Fenrir. All the proceeds we get for these go towards growing the show, cover some of the hosting costs, and allow us to do the fun giveaways that we did last week and earlier today. And lets us kind of give back to you guys. So as a way to say thank you for supporting us. But any kind of support, whether it's emails, likes, tweets, or retweets, follows, subs, whatever, we really appreciate it, because we love interacting with you guys and growing our community. If you want to check out all the different news we post or our back episodes, you can go to our website, PhoenixDownRadio.com. You can catch us out on Twitter at PHXDNRadio. And if you want to join our Facebook group, you can go out to facebook.com/groups/PhoenixDownRadio and stop by and say hi. So how about some shout outs, guys? Who wants to start?
Go ahead, man.
ahead.
All you. Damn it.
I barely have any this week. There
Then
was
go.
so much fishing, and I can't really remember much of anything else.
Shout out to Fish.
Shout out to the I think I shouted them out last time, but shout out to Carbuncle Plushie, who created the fish tracker that I am using. It's really, really awesome, and I appreciate it. Shout out to the folks at Cat Became Hungry, where I also use your thing a bit to check some of the details. Shout out to the many friends who have been chatting with me and keeping me relatively sane while this entire set of shenanigans has been going on. There's so many fish, guys. There's so many fish. And you can follow me on Twitter at FFXIV Seyrr, FF14 Seyrr. I mostly post random interesting stuff I found at the library or cool stuff that I cook.
Very nice. Taliz?
I would like to shout out to at Spirit Ruby on Twitter, who went to TGS this weekend and was posting pictures and descriptions of literally everything Final Fantasy XIV related that she was doing. And it was really, really helpful and super nice to be able to kind of go in spirit, if not in person. So thank you, Ruby, for being awesome. Shout out to Remix and Emmy, who we haven't seen in a while, but they're doing awesome from what I've been told.
Well, Emmy has been busy working with Stage Reborn lately, hasn't she?
That's true. And she is actually going to be part of their newest performance coming out next weekend, if I remember correctly.
Yes, Scoot will be a part of that.
So, yay, Scoot Patoot is doing cool stuff.
So adorable.
And where can people find you?
I can be found on Twitter at Taliz Marvelous, Taliz Marvelous. You are going to hear a lot of griping about whether or not I'm selling my car, where I'm moving to, and possibly layovers in random countries in about 3 weeks. If you weren't here for the pre-show and you weren't here 2 weeks ago, I am potentially moving abroad for 2 months or longer. So I'll still be around, but my posts are going to get weird. Just a heads up.
Could be very fun. There's a reason why we call him the most interesting potato on the planet.
Ooh, I like that. Anyway.
So follow him at Taliz Marvelous. Please do.
That's me.
Yes. And I want to shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to Shoya. Congratulations on winning Final Fantasy VIII. I'll be reaching out to you after the show here to find out what platform you want that on. Shout out to everybody listening out on the podcast. Come join us live sometime at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio. I promise you it'll be a great time. You'll have a lot of fun with it. And yeah, that's basically going to do it for me. And I can be found at PHXDN_KLAUSS. If you want to follow me for whatever odd reason that I have for posting stuff. So I try to post as often as I can. I'm posting on both Phoenix Down Radio and my personal Twitter accounts. So it's a lot of fun trying to balance the two. Anyway, so for my co-hosts, Seyrr Timono, and for Taliz Marvelous, I'm Klauss Nightbringer, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining us on episode 104. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio.
Praise Lava Scorpion.
PhoenixDownRadio.com Productions.
It's not going away.
Support Tina and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Open music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.